Jan, the big one, as we said, coming to the Etihad, it's always an extremely difficult environment to come into. Obviously, Liverpool locking horns with this great City side over numerous years under the Jurgen Klopp as well. What was your review of obviously the game, mate? It's amazing. First result at the Etihad in about 10 years, wasn't it, for Liverpool? And just that in its statistic in itself just goes to show how difficult it can be, really.
So first and foremost, I thought there was a real possibility of what happened to happen. I mean, I think we've gone to Manchester City over the last 10 years, and we've never felt that we might be capable of doing what we did yesterday. But I felt before the game, because of what we've seen this season, that there's a real opportunity here that we might just go to Old Trafford and outclass them. Yeah. And I felt that's what we did. We outclassed them. Now, we did that without overdosing on possession. We didn't have a load of shots, but we just had complete control. And even at the stage in the second half, it's not a turning point, but I think the third goal that gets disallowed because of offside, which is the correct decision. Yeah. But had Dominic timed his run a little bit better and we'd have scored that 3-0, I think that would open the floodgates. You know, I think it might have been one of those, wow, this is going to hurt them. But the fact that that goal was disallowed, and it was the only time inside the stadium that the crowd were lifted. You know, it was like a lifeline for them, wasn't it? Oh, it's not 3-0, it's only 2-0. And that gave Manchester City 5 minutes. And I think the players now have just gone, okay, there's still a little bit of life in them. Let's just see this out. We were quite happy at times just to give them the ball and go, listen, you can have it. As long as we're in position to deal with what you've got. So when I'm talking about in position, I'm mainly talking about centre-halves being where they need to be because they're two wingers. Yeah, that was obviously part of their plan, wasn't it? Two wingers on the touchline, get at our fullbacks. So the centre-halves needed to be where they needed to be. And the midfield players needed to make up numbers in the penalty box. And we did that really well. And then, of course, we also had a feeling of how do you best hurt these? You best hurt these people by playing long. Yeah. The more ground they got to cover, the more they struggled. So at times, especially Trent, just kept going long, kept asking him, go on then, Kevin De Bruyne, go on, Gonzalez, you know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. And that's how you hurt them, isn't it? So everything worked a real treat. There will be people instantly just looking at the stats and go, oh, wow, Liverpool didn't have the ball much and City had more efforts and all that, isn't it? But was there really a serious effort? Did they ever look like they were going to score? No, I don't think they did. No,
it's positive, mate. We loved it. I know we all did. It was that environment, obviously, and Salah, well, I think everyone at this point, we're only in February, we've run out of superlatives to describe, obviously, Mohamed Salah, the stuff he's doing. Another goal and assist for Mo, and especially getting that nice early goal. You've been to many great stadiums, big finals as well with Liverpool, and really getting early goals. It just zaps the crowd, and as you said, the crowd after obviously getting that disallowed goal really got them on song. Obviously, Marmoush's one, but it wasn't to be, mate. But Mohamed Salah, mate, in terms of just how good can his season be, mate? It's absolutely phenomenal, mate. Can you describe? Have you got any describing words left as to how good is he? Well,
that's just. I mean, obviously there was a discussion yesterday about how good he is, and you know, I think you always got to be careful with those comparisons because there's nothing to be gained by it, is it? You know, we're fortunate as a football club that we've had an awful lot of great players, and hopefully we'll continue to have great players. Yeah. But of course, right now it's very raw at the moment, is because it's happening right in front of our eyes every time we play. Most scores and most assists, isn't it? So yeah, of course, there's this thing about how good is he and what. The good thing about this is that this doesn't look like it's about to end, does it? And I'm talking about just this season because that's the only bit we're guaranteed to have him, isn't it? Yeah. So we got another 3 months, and this doesn't look like it's about to end, does it? He's still got the hunger. He's still got that knack to be in the right place, isn't it? So yeah, I mean, what is it? Do you know, Jack? Is it 50? Is it 50 goal involvements? Is
something ridiculous. I think obviously
is ridiculous. That is ridiculous.
It's crazy, mate. I think obviously, in terms of there's an analysis really in regards to, I think for last couple of years, obviously 7th, 8th season wonder with Mo anyway. And in terms of obviously there's discussion in terms of contract, but in terms of you as obviously being a player for Liverpool, playing at that elite level, it's obviously with the sports science and the development of modern football in terms of the longevity of players now. If Mo is to hypothetically get a new contract, do you anticipate him to continue this output in terms of just continuing to lead Liverpool from the front line and obviously keep on scoring all these goals from your point of view?
So obviously, we would mainly have to guess on that, Jack. What is he capable of beyond this season? Isn't it?
Yeah.
The club will be in possession of some stats, but I would suggest that all those stats would only point one way, isn't it? That this guy is more than capable of at least keeping this up for another couple of years. And I think a lot of people would look at it and say, well, should Liverpool renew the contract with Mo Salah? It is 3 years, and you get 2 outstanding years, and then you get a declining year. I think people can live with that. Obviously, the big gamble is that because it will happen at some stage, but Cristiano Ronaldo is still playing somewhere banging a minute at 40, not quite the level that Mo plays at the moment. And so every now and again, you get them. You get people who just breaks the mold and they carry on. I mean, for all what we talk about and the amount of football he's played, because let's not forget Mo Salah is available for every training session and every match Liverpool play.
Yeah.
So for all the football he's played, and if you compare him with playing Manchester City, another couple of greats, Kevin De Bruyne or Bernardo Silva, and how they've almost ran themselves out of the game. It looks like they haven't got any more to give at the highest level, whereas Mo is different. So maybe we're just looking, we got one of these guys that will defy the odds and hopefully for a long, long time. But obviously the big hurdle is, it's going to cost, isn't it? So the big hurdle is, let's see where they all ends up in it. But it's all, I mean, 3 months ago, I would have said, I find it impossible to watch a Liverpool team without Virgil van Dijk in, because I think he's so pivotal, isn't it? But obviously, with Mo carrying the big threat with the goals and assisting, we're starting to think that a team without Virgil and Mo wouldn't look much like a Liverpool team, would it?
No, and obviously you played in many of a great team in Liverpool, mate. You need your big personalities, you need your big leaders in the squad as well, mate. You mentioned obviously the defence. I think you done really well, I think, to go away at the Etihad, regardless of the form in which Manchester City have been in this season. Van Dijk and Ibu, imperious, stamped their authority on the game, really, and just especially that was one of my favourite Andy Robbo performances of the season. I think if you'd asked Andy, that would have been one of his best performances, especially going to the environment as well. Obviously, we mentioned with Trent's ball over the top for the second goal as well, in terms of the build-up for Szoboszlai. But in terms of the back line's performance, how do you think he dealt with Manchester City's quality within that game?
But I just thought we got in position really quick. I think Arnold said, listen, get in position quick, because we know the thing is that when you got quality and people like Kevin De Bruyne still got quality, haven't they? Whether he can still inspire the team to win the Premier League, I'm not so sure, but he's got quality. So let's not give him an opportunity to show that quality. So every time these good players get on the ball, we'll be in position. So when Kevin De Bruyne looks up, there's nowhere for him to go. And that's what we did, isn't it? Every time they looked up and wanted to do something, we're there. So compare that to how we approached the Manchester City games when Jurgen Klopp was the manager, where we went so-and-so, and we were quite happy for the game to be wild and open. And that gave us some classic matches, who will go down in Premier League history, isn't it? But what we did yesterday was totally different, wasn't it? We approached it totally different, without a front man. We just relied on a load of movement, getting into good areas and spaces. Yeah, so it was very impressive. We did exactly what the game needed us to do.
Yeah,
we didn't step outside of that and go, I'm not going to do a little bit for myself. No, just do what the team needs to do, and we did that perfectly. So yeah, the back four, as I said before, in possession, kicked and headed the things the way they had to do, protected the goal like you expect them to be. Trent a couple of times had a few problems with Jeremy Doku, isn't it? But Konate just stepped in there and sorted out the low crosses, because that's all they had on the day. They couldn't play high crosses. They had to come low because they had no presence in the box, isn't it? So we dealt with that.
Yeah, it's exceptional, mate. It's absolutely also exceptional. I wanted to ask, obviously, the midfield lads as well, Ryan Gravenberch, McAllister, obviously, Maka, what he done with Argentina, with Messi and the lads prior to his move to Liverpool, and his great stint at Brighton. Thank you, Brighton, for him anyway. It's the combination play, especially on last night as well. I think Curtis Jones come in yet again. I've been one of Curtis' biggest fans over the last couple of years. I think he's And I think Curtis was on record last night in a couple of interviews saying just how well already this season, just saying how Arne has very much got the best out of his footballing qualities, and that's all you can ask for as a player, as you know, mate. In terms of how well the main obviously Gravenberch, Szoboszlai and McAllister, but how well have you felt, not just on tonight, but in terms of the overall sense of the season, that you played in the midfield with great players? How difficult is it what they're doing currently in terms of just the technical understanding, the application within games, and even Curtis coming in last night, coming in hitting the ground running? But those mainly three, because I've been absolutely blown away with how quickly they've all got together in such a short space of time, really. 10, 15, 12, 15 months anyway. It's crazy.
So Ryan is obviously the big surprise, isn't it? Because we obviously been at Anfield for the year and we hadn't quite seen what we're seeing now, but a new manager sees different qualities in a player. As much as we spoke before the season about a number six, that it's a bit like Rodri. We haven't got that, but we've got a different number six. And then, of course, you mentioned McAllister. McAllister is a top class player, isn't it? You know, apart from what you see and what he does physically, so much of his game is playing in his head, isn't it? You know, half a step ahead of everything else, isn't it? That allows him to get into some great positions, and from time to time, you completely control and run games. And Dominic has just got better and better and better. I mean, we've never doubted his work rate. You know, he's desperate to give 100% every time he plays, isn't it? But he's just added a layer of quality from game to game. And the City game, he had a really good game. Got himself a goal. Shame he didn't get that assist for the offside goal, isn't it? And then, yeah, you're right with Curtis. I mean, what he's looking at here on the slot is that let's not be too stuck on how we want to play. What we really need to do is maybe try and get the best players or the players in form into the team, and then we'll find a formation that fits those 11 players. And that's what we did, you know, with obviously four, well, they are four centre midfield players, aren't when we pitched them all in, and they all did the job. And City, in fairness, Liverpool had a little bit the same, because I think when Liverpool saw the City team, they would have also gone, oh, how are they going to go about
New lad
this?
Gonzalez as well.
Yeah, exactly. They would have thought, let's just have a little look at this. But I think Pep would have been really, well, what's the plan here? And then they obviously never came to grips with our plans at all.
Happy days, yeah. Happy days. We love it. Long may it continue. But yeah, it's just that midfield and the midfield you played them, mate. It's I obviously just being a fan, just watching what they do. Like, I can barely kick a ball in a straight line, mate, but like in the garden or whatnot. But yeah, it's such a like the level. Like, obviously being in the ground a couple of times, and just when you watch them in person or even on the telly, just it's that, and obviously you in training, just the speed in which the game's played at, like half a second, and the players behind you in the Premier League just played at such a high level, mate. In it. But yeah, it's in terms of just a final point, really, or any. Obviously, you mentioned a bit in terms of the adaptation from Arne Slot in terms of last night's performance against City. It was just so very refreshing, to say the least, really, how Liverpool can mix up our game. I think that's been one of the most interesting points when you analyse Slot when he's coming to Liverpool over the last 6 months. Just that adaptation, really, Jan, in terms of how did you deal in terms of from a technical point of view, last night's game. It was truly phenomenal, really.
So when you're not winning football games, I'm talking about in that 90 minutes, you know, and a lot of times when you play a game of football, it can be drawn, can't it? Or whatever. But when you're not winning football games, the first thing you hear from supporters is he's got to change something, and the manager's got to change something. Now, often you don't have to. Often you just have to trust the players and go, we've done all this before. But every now and again, there's a challenge where you think, I might be better off here trying to change things. And I actually think that the best example this year was the Fulham game at Anfield, when we went down to 10 men, where Arne Slot was looking to try and find a way. Exactly. You know, so he kept looking for a solution. And in the end, it really worked, didn't it? So that's his real strength in it.
Yeah.
So when things don't go your way in a game of football, you kind of look and you go, well, I've got a plan B now, yeah. But I've got a feeling that Arne might have a C and a D and an E, should it be needed, you know what I mean? Because he sees football like very few people do. It is incredibly impressive. And most of the things isn't massive big changes that scream it out so everybody can see it. It's just a little tweak, isn't it? You know what I mean? When we try this and we do this, and this is how we're best going to hurt them, isn't it? And it's worth the treat.